Waves value gauge January 2030. In January 2030, the expense of waves is gauged to for the most part be at around a base in every way that really matters worth of 10,997. The waves esteem genuinely worth can explicitly show up at a constraint of 12,502. With the run-of-the-mill trading really worth of 12,155 in USD, which in a real sense is very critical. Waves value estimate February 2030. The typical expense of waves could go to 12,520 toward February's end, or so they generally thought. Waves could basically be trading around a generally lovely outrageous worth of 13,110. With the base expected cost of 11,941, which is very huge. Waves value expectation, WAC 2030. With respect to WAC 2030, waves cost in a real sense is figured to generally show up at a most decreased possible level of 12,307. Beautiful. As opposed to mainstream thinking, the waves cost could especially show up at a biggest possible level of 13,736, with the ordinary check cost of 12,770, in a very enormous manner. Waves value gauge April 2030. For April, the expense of waves by and large is expected to explicitly show up at a run-of-the-mill month-to-month uttermost in a real sense bands of 13,153, while the coin will trade between a constraint of 14,247 and no less than 12,574. Waves value conjecture, May 2030. In May 2030, the expense of waves basically is assessed to explicitly be at around a base pretty worth of 13,100, for the most part in opposition to mainstream thinking. The waves esteem worth can truly show up at a constraint of 14,773, with the regular trading truly worth of 13,679 and USD lovely in opposition to prevalent thinking. Waves value estimate June 2030. The sort of typical expense of waves could go to 13,953. Toward June's end, waves could by and large be trading around a generally outrageous really worth of 15,457. With the base expected cost of 13,374, which especially is very huge. Waves value expectation July 2030. With respect to July 2030, waves cost sort of is gauged to truly show up at a the most impossible level of 13,769. The waves cost could show up at a biggest possible level of 16,155. With the commonplace figure cost of 14,232 in a significant manner. Waves value estimate August 2030. In August 2030, the expense of waves not set in stone to generally be at around a base worth of 13,938. Fundamentally, as opposed to mainstream thinking, the waves esteem really worth can truly show up at a restriction of 16,866, with the normal trading sort of worth of 14,517 in USD, which generally is very huge. Waves value expectation September 2030. With respect to September 2030, waves cost is figured to basically show up at a most insignificant possible level of 14,344. Which basically is genuinely huge. The waves cost could show up at a biggest possible level of 17,592, with the run-of-the-mill guess cost of 14,807, which sort of is very critical. Waves value conjecture, October 2030. The ordinary expense of waves could especially go to 15,251 toward October's end in an especially significant manner. Waves could be trading around a biggest really worth of 18,184, with the base expected cost of 14,672 or so. They in a real sense thought. Waves value conjecture November 2030. For November, the expense of waves in a real sense is expected to really show up at a normal month-to-month in a real sense. The farthest especially reaches of 15,709. While the coin will trade between a restriction of 18,794 and something like 15,246, which truly is very critical. Waves value expectation December 2030. The expense of waves generally is expected to in every way that really matters arrive at anyway worth of 15,601 in 2030 or so they truly thought. The waves cost could sort of show up at a biggest kind of worth of 19,423, with the common trading cost of 16,180 all through 2030 within the latest 1 month the expense of waves decreased by 79,250, killing a mind-boggling really typical measure of 2088 from its continuous fundamentally worth in an exceptionally huge manner. This unforeseen down suggests that the coin is in plunge at the especially present time, inferring that it might generally be a respectable buy, a for the most part open entryway for expedient endeavor in an exceptionally significant manner. The 90 days cost change for the most part is close 64.91 and the expense circumnavigated from a base commonplace expense of 1512 to most prominent by and large typical expense of 1579 in the past 90 days, which for the most part is very huge. Waves generally is someplace close 6206, with the best common expense of the coin sort of was around 1982, and the base normal worth of most certainly was around 1633 in past 4 months. Amazingly, Waves value conjecture 2030 facts what will by and large be Waves worth in 2030, which certainly is genuinely critical. The Waves cost is gauged to basically show up at a biggest level of 19,423. With practically the smallest expense of 15,601, close to the completion of 2030, in an unpretentious manner. Does Waves basically have a future to the extent that worth? Waves truly has a remarkable exceptionally potential to show up at new levels without a doubt. Figure Waves will augment in regard which is genuinely critical, as explicitly demonstrated by unambiguous subject matter experts and business analysts. Waves can essentially cause a commotion in and out of town cost of 26,920 till 2030. In a significant manner. Is Waves genuinely worth buying in 2030? In an unpretentious manner, Waves kind of worth especially should generally continue to develop as need will in sort of broad engage cost rise, which is genuinely huge in the event that it's not excessively truly much difficulty. Note there generally is a bet to any endeavor which sort of is genuinely huge just in a real sense. Put assets into what you can accomplish preceding arriving at any goals and sort of led the most outrageous assessment possible. Waves value estimate January 2031. In January 2031, the expense of Waves really is gauged to by and large be at around a base certainly worth of 15,533. In an unpretentious manner, the Waves esteem exceptionally worth can show up at a restriction of 17,474 with the run-of-the-mill trading extremely worth of 16,989 in USD in an unpretentious way. Waves value gauge February 2031. For February, the expense of